Wrapping up, shall we say, quite a day in the Middle East. There was a motorcade led by red Cybertrucks that led to a parade of camels, and then a lavish state dinner in a sprawling palace. And this morning, he met with the new leader of Syria. This is a man who, until late last year, had a $10 million bounty on his head from, you guessed it, the U.S. government for jihadist activity. All of that, though, has been overshadowed by the president's desire to upgrade his ride. So the president apparently feels some envy seeing other countries' planes that are newer and bigger. So now he's insisting on accepting that offer from the Qatari government to give the U.S. government an ultra-luxurious jumbo jet.
This clip from CNN is a perfect example of what's been going on in the mainstream media of late. They're laser focused on this concocted scandal about President Trump accepting a jet from Qatar. But while they're busy clutching their pearls over a plane, they're completely ignoring the massive wins Trump is securing for America on his Middle Eastern trip, wins that make this plane shrink by comparison. We're talking, gang, trillions of dollars of investments pouring into the U.S. economy, creating jobs, boosting industries, and strengthening our global position. Now, so you all know Trump was on a whirlwind tour through the Middle East, so Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates, meeting with some of the wealthiest and most influential leaders in the region. He wasn't there to lecture them or push ideology. Those days are over. He was there for business, plain and simple. He was there to negotiate and bring home investments that will benefit American workers, businesses, and communities. And the numbers coming out these meetings, I mean, they're staggering. In Saudi Arabia, Trump secured a commitment for $600 billion in investments in the United States. But not to be outdone, Qatar ended up pledging $1.2 trillion in economic commitments. And then the UAE pledged $1.4 trillion over the next decade, targeting sectors like AI, semiconductors, energy. Trump has just secured over $3 trillion in potential investments from just 3 countries, all in a single trip over the course of 4.5 days. Not bad. I mean, this is what America First looks like in action, bringing wealth and prosperity back home. And so, of course, right on cue, what is the media fixated on? A jet. They're obsessed over a jet. The story CNN and others are pushing is that Qatar has offered a luxury plane to the United States to replace the aging Air Force One. Trump was open to it, calling it a transparent transaction that could save taxpayers money. But the media is now claiming that this was some kind of shady deal, implying foreign influence or corruption. Now, of course, keep in mind, this is the same legacy media that emphatically and repeatedly denied any mental or physical ailing on the part of Biden, as well as completely ignored the corruption of the Biden family, which sold Joe's influence abroad. Forget that. But something seems particularly dubious here. The media knows that focusing on a shiny object like a jet will grab headlines and stir up outrage among their, frankly, dwindling audience so as to distract them from their own potential gain that could come from these amazing economic investments. The mainstream media has consistently shown its disdain for any developments that could actually uplift our nation if the name Trump happens to be behind those developments. But unfortunately, the only ones who ultimately get hurt from that kind of, frankly, suppression are their own audiences, and particularly their financial future. Their incessant gripes and grievances they paint a false narrative, disguising the opportunities that could drive our economy to unprecedented heights. And their audience is going to be left out of that. Now, fortunately, we have with us today my good friend and an expert on finances, Jonathan Rose, who has some profound insights into these amazing new investment opportunities and how we can take advantage of them for ourselves. So stay tuned as we navigate through the chaos and discover how to seize this moment because we are truly in unprecedented times. Jonathan, welcome. Great to see you again.
Oh, thank you for having me back. It's a pleasure to sit here and talk to you. And you're absolutely right. I'm listening to your intro here. What Trump has achieved in the Middle East is absolutely amazing. Mainstream media is obviously sweeping this under the rug. And why they aren't crediting him for injecting trillions of dollars into the economy, they want to dumb us down. They want to, as you mentioned, throw a smoke grenade and concentrate on something else, which is a shiny new plane, which is supposedly, as Trump said, hey, if I can save the taxpayers' money, let's save the money. But they're really not giving him the glory and the win that he really has with the Middle East investing into the United States, whether it be pharmaceutical, military, AI, tech. And the real winners are the people that can see through the smokescreen and actually realize that President Trump is blazing kind of the yellow brick road to show us what the future could look like. But the mainstream legacy media, they want to keep dumbing us down, and the loony left, they don't want us to know how to make money in this market. But the smart people are waking up and realizing that the future is here, the future is now, especially when you mentioned AI and tech. There's a lot of investment opportunities out there that people need to be made aware of and understand how, like the Trump administration and him and his family personally are capitalizing on this, how you can as well.
Yeah, well, that's a great segue because I wanted to ask you that you're very passionate about bringing particularly very high tech, very elite like technologies into the hands of just average, ordinary Americans. Can you break down how these massive Middle East investments are setting the stage for incredible economic growth?
Yeah.
And what it means for markets, particularly in crypto and tech?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, crypto, as we talked off camera, is one of both of you and I is one of our favorite market segments out there. And when you look at this cash injection from the Middle East, a lot of this is to do with AI tech, and also Trump's getting ready to pass the Genius Act, which is to do with a new stable coin, which really is going to separate the banking sector and really thrust the digital age of financial assets even further. We've seen the full adoption with Bitcoin. It's almost like Lego pieces he's stacking together to kind of build this finished model, and we're almost there. And when you look at technology that's advancing, we're very fortunate because we work with the world leading AI tech provider, Animus Technologies, and we've paired that together with our crypto platform, Block Trust IRA. And now even investors who are looking to invest in cryptocurrency, which you talk about marrying AI tech, cryptocurrency together, that is one of the hottest markets right now. And when people can take advantage of these markets and understand that they're not just flourishing right now, it's literally the biggest wealth transfer in history that we're currently seeing. But mainstream media won't tell you this. They're going to tell you something else. They're telling you to look over here. But the reality is this is where the smart money is pouring into. So we've seen a lot of naysayers, even people like Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, make rash statements like, Bitcoin is a silly investment. Well, they're now accepting and selling,
they're on board,
selling Bitcoin. So the technology sector is rising like a helium balloon. And I think it's very important that people need to understand that when you participate in these sectors, you want to not just understand and educate yourself with them, but work with people even like us, because we have technology that even BlackRock doesn't have when it comes to AI tech, especially when you're looking at retirement. I say cryptocurrency, but one thing I'll mention about cryptocurrency, Dr. Steve, is that it's a market that doesn't sleep. It's traded 24/7, 365. So you want to have these cutting edge tools. And this is what we're talking about with cutting edge tools being invested and coming back into America. And you want to have these cutting edge tools married to your portfolio so you can take advantage of this massive tech crunch, this AI involvement, and this big push that we're seeing in the crypto market right now. And it's no wonder that assets like Bitcoin are reaching historical new highs. Is it making the news? No. Why? Because legacy media is dumbing it all down.
Now, I want to get into, because I mean, you can definitely do a little bit of self-trumpeting here. I saw Bitcoin Magazine gave you you had quite the stiff competition over 1,000 different platforms. You just got the number one on this. I want to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But that's what it boils my blood to think. So Trump, before he leaves, do you remember one of the last things he said before he left on that whirlwind tour with all the pageantry and the magistry behind it, and the when he was received, the camels in Qatar. I mean, it was just, it was
impressive.
amazing. It was very impressive. But do you remember one of the last things he said before he left? Make sure you invest now. Make sure you invest now. You better buy up your stocks or whatever it is. You want to invest now, because this plane is about to take off, ironically, for that metaphor, right? And that's what boils my blood, is how is it now that he comes back totally faithful from, like literally like a conquering Caesar, brings back trillions upon trillions of investments. The economy, we just got the big, beautiful bill. The tax cuts are all about to kick in, hopefully, if the Senate cooperates. And yet, so the economy is ready to boom. And instead of echoing what Trump said, yeah, this is probably a pretty good time to strap yourselves in, invest, stake your claim here, because you're going to see this economy explode. The media focuses on a plane. They ignore the 3 trillion. They ignore the call to invest, and they focus on how did we get to this point?
Well, I think you have to look at a little bit of history, and we look at our former administration, with Sleepy Joe and the left. These same people that were hiding, like you mentioned, Biden's favors for sale, are the same people that, again, are trying to distract us with fake news and make it all about, a plane versus the economic shift that we're seeing forward moving. And this is how these big establishments kind of keep people dumbed down or keep them not wanting to make money. So it's very important that people find the right news sources, the right channels, so they can understand why President Trump is doing this, because he's literally paving the way. He's actually, I would say, it's kind of a brash statement, but making it easy for people to make money if they can just pull back that curtain and understand what's real and what's not real. Push aside this fake narrative that we keep saying, and really focus on the facts here, focus on the financial future, because these big banks, they want to keep us in debt. They're like big pharma, they want to keep us hooked. And when you look at financial investments today, you look at the US dollar, it's dying. It's $36 trillion in debt. We're heading off of a fiscal cliff. But you look at honest money, you look at the role of assets like Bitcoin. It's no wonder why the Trump organization is basically coming out and standing tall and saying, we are going to make America the US crypto capital of the world. And you can't bury your head in the sand and ignore these type of statements like an ostrich, right? You have to pay attention, be proactive and not reactive. And that's basically what we do. We kind of educate people on the importance of understanding this relatively still new market, right? Because cryptocurrency is still relatively new. There's still a lot of questions, and people are asking us, well, how do you participate in cryptocurrency? And people don't even realize you can even put IRAs, 401ks into it and have these elite trading tools, which I will humbly agree with you. We won first place with Bitcoin Magazine with 1,500 different global fund managers out there that we can take these strategies and win. And that's why we're so confident in what we do.
It's so fascinating because, I mean, sort of the parallel I would draw here in terms of just an insight into our time is, I mentioned Trump, and a lot of commentators like Victor Davis Hanson was talking about this the other day. Trump did not go to the Middle East to lecture them. He didn't lecture them on human rights, right? He didn't lecture them on liberalism. He didn't lecture them. He went there to make money. He said he knows that if everyone is prospering, if investments are flowing everywhere, we're going to have a better world. People like to cooperate. They like to flourish financially, and then that enables them to achieve their goals. We do seem to be entering into a new political period, a political time that seems to have this loose parallel to this new sort of technological society that we're entering into. We're entering into a world that's dominated by the internet. It's dominated by digitality. It's getting increasingly dominated by AI. AI is basically like the new electricity. Just as everything got plugged into, just as everything got electrified, eventually everything is going to get cognized in some way, shape, or form. And we were talking off camera here. It's inevitable. The same things are going to happen to money. Money is moving in this direction as well. And we're already seeing it. The future is now. And you guys are on the cusp of it and obviously doing very, very well with it. How can everyday people, from small investors to entrepreneurs, we have everyone represented in this audience, how can they get in on this economic boom that's part of really, literally a new world rising?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they want an education, we've set up a dedicated link for you where they can go to turleytalkscrypto.com. And that's the first base, I would say, get an education, get an understanding, because, I used to work in financial assets and money managers and hedge funds for, maybe nearly 30 years now. And
Impossible.
I am. Yeah.
You started 12.
Half a century old now. So I'm getting up
welcome
there.
Welcome to the club. That's right.
Good genes from the family side. So one thing I've learned with investing is you can fight change or you can embrace change, because markets are always changing. And a lot of time people are resistant to change and new thoughts and how these cogs work. And once you kind of embrace them and break down the walls, that's how you can kind of really be at the forefront of any type of investing and be financially free. And as you mentioned, we're entering into a new paradigm, a new economy, a digital economy, and it's very important that people get educated on this new economy. Saudi Arabia are on board. I mean, like you said, President Trump wasn't there to lecture them. They were there to help nations make monies and come together. People are already doing that. So people here stateside need to realize this seismic shift that we're witnessing right now. Don't be focused on the 747 jumbo jet plane. Be focused on the seismic shift, because there's a huge transfer of wealth that's currently underway, and people can be a part of it too. And that's why I mentioned, we've got a dedicated link for your listeners, Turley Talks Crypto. And it's going to show them how to buy cryptocurrency, particularly my favorite Bitcoin assets such as those, safely and securely. And then the second question people often ask me, and this is the important one, and this has been the resistance to change. Well, isn't cryptocurrency volatile? And I say, yes, it is inherently volatile. And you mentioned, well, we're very proud that we won the #1 Bitcoin trading strategy. It's not just a trading strategy. It's a tool now that we offer to people through AI and crypto. And really what's happening now is these are old buy and hold strategies, which, by the way, if you're doing that with crypto, not saying that's wrong, but you're losing the race, because you need to have these sophisticated new tools to kind of mitigate this volatility. If there's a drawdown in the market, we are the world's best, and we've proven that already, at mitigating risk. So if the market drops, we put people back in cash. And when the time's to buy again, we buy back in. We're so confident that we can get this right, that if we can't help you, we would recommend someone else that can help you. That's how confident we are. So it all begins with getting educated. And we have many resources for your listeners to kind of understand, why they need to participate in crypto and how to get started.
I'm chuckling because, when it's so funny. I told my wife about you and what you guys do, and she goes, "That's exactly what I'm telling you to do." My wife's from Japan, so I always, when I mimic her, I make her sound Chinese. I don't know what it is, but I always tell you to do. When it gets really high, you sell your crypto, my Bitcoin. You sell, and then when it gets back down low, you buy. And I'm like, yeah, but honey, I don't have time to keep the Coinbase app, and I'm just and then I meet you, and I find out you've got an AI that does this automatically. It's astonishing. And then the gains that you're able to make. I love how you say that. You're not, how did you put it? If you're just buying and holding, you're not quite in the game. I forgot how you put it.
You're kind of losing the race. Not saying it's
You're
a
losing the
bad
race,
strategy, but it's not an optimized strategy, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, they say buy low, sell high,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a little bit of a cliche statement. But if you can actually do it and do it through AI, and we're not talking like ChatGPT AI. I'm talking about sophisticated AI where we have servers around the world that's quantifying. We're considered a quant fund, quantifying millions and millions of data points, so we can make those right decisions for you, so that when you do sell and buy back in, you're now doing my favorite thing in investing, which is compounding, because you're able to buy back in lower and buy more coins. And there's nothing more powerful when it comes to investing with that magic word, compounding.
Compound, absolutely, yeah, that's right. Warren, the Oracle from Omaha, right? Warren Buffett. That's his scripture verse. I think it's just compound interest. Yeah. And another thing about Animus Tech that I think is so fascinating, that again a lot of people just don't know, but you're bringing it here to the fore. This is not available. I mean, if we wanted to avail ourselves of Animus Tech, we'd probably have to hang out with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. This is for a very exclusive crowd, and you're bringing it to literally your ordinary American. That's
kind of close there. I mean, I'm kind of smiling a bit. I won't mention which nation, but we have had some governments take our traders out to dinner, and they've been asking them about cryptocurrency. So we've actually spoken to some nation heads, and our Animus technologies, we married that with our Block Trust IRA platform. So the Block Trust IRA is kind of like the front door to access cryptocurrencies safely and securely. And then our partnership with Animus Technologies is taking these elite trading strategies that have, to be honest with you, only been available to hedge funds and institutional investors. And we've been able to, through hard work, get these strategies whitelisted and then bring them to retail investors like you and I, because people are busy at work. They're not buying and selling or trading, watching charts, moving averages. There's a lot that goes in. It's very complex. Well, we take the complexity out of all the trading with the security of insurance on their assets and the power, world-winning, world-class of AI trading married to their crypto portfolio. And that's what we consider, that's how we beat the market. And we have 4 years of audited results of beating the market. And that's why, Bitcoin Magazine touted us the #1 trading platform. We were just in CoinDesk the other day, and they're talking about our strategies. So again, you're right. These strategies aren't available anywhere else. They're only available right now through us, and obviously being on your show with your listeners, it's something we're happy to share and educate them on, because I always say education is key, and that's where it all starts, is understanding what's happening in this crypto space. The market moves fast, right? We've seen that. I was even shocked, with the full adoption, President Trump passing these laws where we can even place Bitcoin in the US Treasury, bills being passed where local legislators are able to purchase cryptocurrencies for local state, surpluses that are out there. So it's all moving fast. And you don't want to get left behind in this, and don't get blindsided by the media who are trying to distract you from becoming financially free.
It's so frustrating. Exactly. It's so frustrating. Thank heavens less people are taking them seriously than ever before. But again, Trump, before he leaves, invests now, comes back. Here's the trillions. Now let's get ready. And what are they focused on? Some silly 747. That's I mean, it's crazy. Just to give everyone a sense of the new world that's rising. I don't know if you have the figures here, but I think it was on your website. How many new millionaires have been created through crypto?
In crypto, I think in the past 12 months, there's been about 80,000 millionaires created from crypto. And what you need to understand, when this was crazy, you talk about media not announcing news. Bitcoin became the 5th largest asset in the world the other day, beating Amazon and Google. So, watch out, Microsoft, Nvidia, and even the gold market, the cap, eventually at some point, Bitcoin is even going to overtake that in terms of market share. Now, is this being talked about? No. Is groundbreaking new highs being talked about? No. And in fact, I was at a baseball game the other day with friends, and I told them, Bitcoin broke historical new highs, and they're like, "Really? I didn't even know that." And these are very, educated investor friends of mine, very successful, and they're now getting the resources from me and my team. So I just think people need to be aware of what's happening. This Middle East deal that Trump's done, it's fantastic for the economy. It's fantastic for the industry, whether it be tech and crypto, and we're very excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, gang, if you've been with this channel for some time now, I'm passionate about two assets fundamentally: gold and crypto. To me, that's the embodiment of archeo future economics. And gang, I have to implore you, do not miss out on this amazing opportunity. I'm in it. Jonathan's in it. We're not preaching to you. We're practicing this stuff. The future is crypto. There's literally no way around this. As our world becomes more digitalized, as cyberspace grows and grows, as AI becomes the new electricity and cognizes every aspect of life, money and finance will inevitably, proportionately change. And you have this opportunity to tap into the future now and ride this amazing wave so we can all flourish together. And Jonathan and his team are going to help you do precisely that. They're amazing. I love them. So don't wait. Make sure to go to turleytalkscrypto.com, turleytalkscrypto.com. And I understand if you do that today, there's an incentive. You can claim up to $2,500 in funding bonuses. So you have no excuse. This is it, gang. This is the time to do this. So don't miss out on your chance to take financial control in these unprecedented times. The knowledge you gain could be the catalyst for your success, and it's a success you never even imagined. Incredible stuff. Jonathan, thank you so much. I love chatting with you. I mean, whenever I'm with you, I think of what Elon said excitedly. I think it was right before the election or right after the election. It was right after the election. He just said the future is going to be amazing. And so that's the way I feel whenever I'm chatting with you. Let's have you back. Let's have you back very soon, maybe after the next Bitcoin surge.
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I really enjoy my time with you as well.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.